Welcome to the Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show. Our hosts are going to push the limits, but create an environment where it's safe to uncover the crap that holds you back so you can survive the mediocrity of today's life. And they'll be admitting and revealing their own experiences so you can learn the skills and attitude you need to be who you are. No bullshit. Warning to all listeners, if you have thin skin and get offended easily by harsh, direct, or somewhat offensive content and language, then this podcast may be overwhelming. However, we believe pulling your blinders off and viewing things from a real perspective may feel invigorating and may be the very thing that may cause you to expand your capabilities exponentially. Now here's your host, Don.
We're approaching over 60 days that President Trump has been in office. So far, he's gotten a lot done. We're going to discuss it right now and a few other things. This is Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show. Thank you for joining us. Along with Don, I'm Sal, and our producer, Marcel. We're here today. Don, welcome. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Welcome, everyone.
We have a few things to discuss in the show. Don, I liked what you were talking about before we went on the air. So you want to bring that up? We'll start this out.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What I was talking about was, I started asking, what's going on with this, because it's tax time right now, right? What's going on with the no tax on the tips, overtime, or Social Security, right? These are all things that are here to benefit the American people. Well, turns out that every single Democrat voted against it. Not one voted for it, okay? So they're all sticking together, and it's not for the people, right? It's to hate Trump, to be against Trump. So it's not what's become very clear to me, okay? Regardless, even if I was a Democrat, I would say, wait a minute, why would I want to pay tax on tips or overtime? Why would I want to get punished for working overtime? Or why would I want to get taxed on my Social Security benefit? Okay, you don't, okay? So I think that they just keep pushing their voters further and further and further away because it's not, I think anyone with a brain between their ears has become cognizant of the fact that they don't care about the U.S. citizen. All they care about is we hate Trump and we stick together on the Trump hate. And I think that it's so overplayed, and I think people are so tired of it that I don't know how the Democratic Party is ever going to rebound and make it back. I think they're going to have to change their name from Democrat to something else, And seriously, I
agree.
If I was a staunch Democrat and this kind of shit was going on, I would never, ever vote Democrat again. I don't care who the hell would be in there just because that name has been so tainted.
Well, they're staying the course, and I think we've discussed that on previous shows. They refuse to make themselves a little bit more moderate to try to appeal to the masses of independents. And I truly believe, I think we talked about this last season on the show, that the independents are going to call the election. And they did, overwhelmingly. And when you have someone like, I just seen this morning that AOC and Kamala Harris are leading their numbers percentage-wise, 9 to 10%. Kamala's got 10, and AOC has 9, of being the next presidential candidate for the Democrats. And all this does is send the message that they have learned nothing. Nothing at all. They're staying the course. They're infighting now with Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, saying that he backed the bill. So you're right. They do not have the people interest at heart. If they did, they wouldn't have opened the border in the first place. All they wanted to do was get votes. Now they're staying the course, I feel, just like you said, because it's against Trump. That's it. And it's the far left Democrats. The moderate Democrats, I think, agree with the Republicans or most of the independents. It's the far left that's killing the party. And they are not the same Democratic Party that they were years ago. Got ruined.
Well, I'm going to say it on both ends, okay? I think people are too far left, and I think people are too far right, okay?
Yeah.
I'm all about conservatism. I'm all about logic. I'm all about common sense politics. That's how Trump portrays it, and I believe that to be an accurate statement. But when you're too far in any direction, it's a turnoff, even to me. I don't really care about much. It's fine as long as it doesn't show up in my backyard. I'm okay with it. But the thing is when you start putting things into politics that don't belong in politics, religions and people bearing children, and this has nothing to do with it. Okay, so even on the right side, even though I sound like, oh yeah, I'm all about being conservative, I am, but some of these guys are way too far right. Okay, yeah, and the left, it seems like they're all far left. There's nobody that's in the middle because they all want to stick together as a cult. And that's the problem, is there's nobody in the middle and says, hey, wait a minute, guys. This is what I agree with, but I don't agree with all of that nonsense. You know what I mean? I don't agree with the destruction of the United States and the destruction of the citizens and the destruction of our economy and the destruction of our safety. Like, there's nobody on the left that would say that, and that's the problem. Is they're like, no, we need open borders, but then when you say you got the borders open, oh no, we didn't. It was the right, and they voted against it. Like, it's all this finger pointing bullshit. They do all this stuff, but the bottom line is they're about destruction. And so, if they had somebody that was in the middle, I'm not sure that they would be able to salvage the name of the Democratic Party. I think it's toast because these people are just so far left. Now, on the other side of the coin, the ones on the right have to be careful not to be so far right either, because that turns people off. You have to have some kind of common sense when it comes to, our government and the people that are running it.
Well, what they need to do is reinvent themselves yet again, because this last 4 years, this last administration kind of killed their reputation. But you have a lot of the far left Democrats like Jasmine Crockett and everything like them. I mean, this was the party that was supposed to be pro-environment, saving the environment, the green, be green, the new green scam, as Trump calls it. Now they are lighting lithium battery cars on fire because they dislike Elon Musk because of Trump, which is so bad for the environment, but they don't care. They don't care. It's also the party that was supposed to be protecting women's rights, if you remember that. Now, every Democrat voted against protecting women in sports. So what does that tell you? They contradict themselves constantly. They are not the party for the people. They are not.
All it is constant hypocrisy. So anything that the left says that they're for, they're actually against, okay? Equality in people, okay? They're the ones that brought racism back, right? Yeah. I mean, with this Black Lives Matter, we're all about the black people, but really what it did was it was done to create hatred toward the black people. And so if you stand back and look and you have any logic, you understand that it's just all pure hypocrisy. And it's really all just about money. It's a transfer of wealth, okay? To get all the U.S. citizens to fight amongst each other, and it's about transfer of wealth. Like, look over here, but don't look over here. This is where we got our hands in the till. But look over here, and this is what you're doing when that's really what I'm doing. It's all reversal bullshit. It's total hypocrisy, and it's like I can't even watch this stuff. I can't listen to it. I can't watch the TV. I can't listen to radio. Any of this media nonsense. I want nothing to do with it.
All right, I'll watch it for you, buddy.
Yeah, you can watch it for me, but it's all fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's all about money. It's all about money and power, and I was listening to some of these guys, and they're talking. They're like, yeah, in the last 4 years, there's just so much money out there, just so much money. And I'm thinking, well, I'm a small business owner, and there was a lack of, okay? So there was a lot of money out there for the people that were way up on the top, and there was very little, there was scraps for the people that are on the bottom. So, all these people that think that they're voting left because they're for the people and the little people, really look at your destruction. Look what's gone on. Yeah, you've gotten some free money, but now your money's not worth nothing. So the whole thing has been designed to destroy you, whether you like to hear that or not.
Yeah, they don't. Like you said with the tips, they don't care about the middle class. They don't. And all they do is spout out how Trump and the Republicans are only giving breaks and more money to the billionaires. Well, that's not true. It's just not true. If you look at the facts, that's not what's happening right now. Trump is trying to bolster up the middle class. Gas prices are lower now than they've been the last 4 years. Price of eggs, which I still think is ridiculous to even talk about eggs that much. Price of eggs have dropped. I know the feds didn't really do too much for interest rates, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have something to do with the interest rates in the next 8 or 9 months. But they don't care. Like you said, they just want the power. They don't care. They were screaming that Mayorkas, who was in charge of the border under President Biden, all he kept saying, and I heard the clips this morning as well, is the border is secure. It's secure. We're fighting every day to secure the border. Blatant lies. They just keep lying. But their base believes it, and they all run with it. All the media outlets run with it.
Well,
So,
we'll
see.
that's when people listen to words and don't look at actions, okay? And the people that watch my lips move and hear me spew a bunch of bullshit that I'm not doing, and they're not aware of the fact that I'm not doing what I'm saying, okay, then, they deserve to be fooled because they have zero awareness. Now, think about what you just said about everyone says that Trump's about the upper 1% only, okay? Think about what you just said and what I just said. I said that he proposed, okay, a bill to get rid of taxes on tips, okay, overtime, and Social Security benefits, okay? Social Security benefits is everyone, but typically those are about the lower or the middle or the lower middle class, right, people, okay? And who's voting against it, okay? The people that are blaming Trump for only being for the upper 1%. He's trying to pass something for the little guy, the waitress at the diner down the road, okay? She makes, $20,000 on a check, and maybe she makes $30,000 on tips, and she's got to pay tax on the tips. These people that are spewing that he's only good for the 1%, he's trying to help these people, and they're going against it. So, it's hypocrisy at its finest. All you have to do is put some cotton swabs in your ears, watch their lips move, okay, and watch what they're doing, and you'll understand that it's all a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. They don't care about the people, like you said, and all it is power. They want the votes, and they keep saying they're going to do what's best for their constituents. And I don't know if people are not buying it. I mean, they weren't buying it in the last election. I don't know how the midterms are going to go, but as I could see right now, I think the House and Senate are going to stay Republican, but you never know. But if they don't do something and change the course, they are not going to win over the independents. And I can tell you that right now. Yes, I'm pro-Trump, but I am a registered independent, but I've been very critical of Trump as well. So I'm kind of trying to be moderate here. I don't see any reason why I would think that the Democrats are going to turn this around and convince their people or the independents that they are for them, because they're not. Like you said, it was hypocritical of all them.
No, I'm going to bring up something that's been on my mind that I haven't talked about because it's going to be extremely controversial even amongst our listeners. But the fact that that Trump was pro-Palestine, right? Mm-hmm. And now he's pro-Israel. Seems like he's pro-Israel and anti-Hamas. So there's no Palestine in the language anymore. Now it's Hamas. Now all of Palestine is considered Hamas.
Right.
Okay? So he's pro-Israel. Okay? What's with the flip? And is Israel truly the one running our country? Like what is that is the one thing that perplexes me on the Trump thing is now all of a sudden he's pro-Israel, okay? And you stand back and look, and I know people are going to hate me for saying this. Israel creates a lot of problems with a lot of countries, and they always have, okay? And then we're like the bodyguard for this country, okay? And and from how I understand it, and nobody really knows, but Palestine has had land taken from them, okay? Palestine they were cut off from resources from Israel. This is all. I don't know if this is to be fact, but this is what I think. And they were cut off from resources, and they were like putting a dog in a cage without any food. Okay, And then when they went militant and they attacked, obviously I don't condone any of that because they always the people who get attacked are always the wrong people. They attacked, they broke their defense not because they had weapons, because they were like a dog in a cage, you know what I mean, with no food, and so it didn't go down right, okay, but this whole situation was kind of created by Israel, okay. Now Israel wants to bomb Palestine. Now, what's the ulterior motive for this whole thing? Like, so I'm not anti or pro either one. I really don't give a shit. What's going on over there has been going on forever, and it's always going to go on no matter if we're involved or we're not. But what's with the flip with President Trump? That is my one question that I can't get my arms around.
Yeah, I have no idea. And
do you understand my point, Sal?
Oh, I do. Yeah, and I don't understand it. I have no idea. I'm sure the left would try to tell you something, but I wouldn't believe that.
Everyone's going to try and tell you something, okay? The right's going to tell you something. The left's going to tell you something. How accurate any of it is, I don't think there's any accuracy to any of it. The bottom line is, I don't even think we should be involved in all of this shit. We should secure our land, secure our people, secure our economy, and call it a day. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if we're part of that what's it called?
UN?
Yeah. If we're part of that, okay,
United
then we
Nations.
contribute our percent of our money to it, and that's fine, and that's it. But enough of this being the patrolman for the whole world, but because I don't think it's serving our people correctly.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think we should be concentrating, which I know they are, of securing our own borders first.
Yes.
Then seeing if we could worry about something else. I agree. What this whole setup is with Israel and everything, and I truly feel bad for what happened last year or a few years ago with that. But I don't know. I think we need to take care of our own people, our own borders first. I would think that a lot of independents feel that way. I don't know what the Dems would say. The Dems would just say, well, you have the squad in Congress. They're just going to stick up for Palestine because, that's what they're doing. That's their home country, for the squad at least. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. But you're right. I guess time will tell as months go on, as the midterms approach. Like I said in the opening, I think he's like 64 days in office as of today. So we'll see what happens. But we do have a lot of far right or far left judges that are trying to block a lot of Trump's mandates, which I understand. I don't agree with, but the only thing I'm going to say on that, and I don't know what your opinion is, I know these far left judges have an ulterior motive of what they're doing, and they dislike Trump because majority of them are Biden and Obama appointees. But Trump, his administration needs to find the right avenues to doing this stuff. Like it says here that one of the judges now is rejecting Trump's deportations of the Venezuelan gangs, which I disagree with that. But I think the law that he used to deport them was not accurate. He used the wrong law. So they need to figure out what they're going to do. If he just does things using the right avenues, all these judges' blocks will go away. So, I mean, personally, I don't know what the answer is, but this is what I hear from attorneys, and they're saying that he's just not picking the right laws to do things. And I think he's talking about it a little bit too much. I think if you're going to deport a bunch of gang members, MS-13 or the Trende gang, he should just do it. But by going out and talking about it every day, he's drawing attention to it. Now, will that solve it? I don't know.
Well, you're right, but like when the left, imported all these idiots on our planes, and they didn't have to go through any kind of security system. They just dropped them off, and then they distributed them through the United States, and then they just denied it. They were on the opposite side of it. They didn't. Not only did they not talk about it, they denied it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have one extreme one way, one extreme the other way. We're going to do it whether you like it or not, and this is why. And maybe the why didn't match why he's doing it correctly. Okay. And then you got the other side that's just doing it, and then they're going to deny that they did it, and they're not going to ask permission, and they're not going to ask for forgiveness. So, and sometimes they say, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, right? That's one of the sayings that's out there. But at least he is talking about it. At least he's saying, "Hey, I did this," right? And then they're attacking. But if you attack them and say, "Well, you can't just fly illegal immigrants in and distribute them amongst the United States," that's not even talked about because they own the medias, right? They own the medias.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
We never did it. I don't know what you're talking about. Like all this bullshit. So I agree with what you're saying, but I don't agree with what you're saying because those avenues need to go both ways. Just because he's an honest guy and he tries doing things the right way, he's gonna do like it does us a service by getting rid of, serious gang members, right?
Yes.
Deporting them to a different country doesn't cost us money to, keep these people in our prisons and get them the hell out of our country, but. So it's doing us a service, whether the why thing matched up, like you say, the law or whatever the ordinance that said he could or couldn't do it didn't match up. At least he's doing something that's advantaging America, okay? Where you got these idiots that say, "Oh, we don't know what you're talking about. Well, what people? What planes? We have no record of it. We don't know what you're talking about." Like, that's blatant, right? Like illegal activity, okay? And so you can play it off however you want it. It's like if a guy plays by the rules, okay, but maybe you over manipulated one of the rules, okay, that's one thing. But when somebody does something when no one's looking and then they blatantly deny it, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. So, and then what were you talking about? You were talking about the judges. You were talking about the judges,
Yeah.
and that falls in line exactly with what I was saying about even like the Democratic politicians, where they voted against these things that are pro-citizen, right, but anti-Trump. It's the same thing with these judges, right? So does it help us? Yeah, we're gonna get 260 of the most dangerous gang members back here in America, and that really helps us. No, it doesn't. But it goes against Trump. So it's hate Trump and do everything you can against the U.S. citizens. So, if you back yourself out of a lot of these situations and you look into it, okay, you can see exactly what's going on, and that's why you don't have to look at too deeply into any of this stuff, and you realize where the manipulation's coming from. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is. I believe it is coming from the left. But, you put on daytime TV, you get stuck with The View and stuff like that, and they're spewing propaganda, and it's BS.
Who watches that? Well, they got 20 viewers? I mean, they got...
There must be people watching it because they're still on the air. I don't know why ABC still allows that. But you also... Now, if you're dominating... Well, you're dominating all media anyways. And then you're talking about late-night television. All the shows there, they're all against Trump. They're spewing their BS. So like we said in the past, when you have the media going against the president, it's real easy if you're a Democrat or a far-left Democrat to just join in the crowd and say, yeah, Trump is bad. I seen an interview at one of the rallies, which I know they have a rally coming up on the 29th to go against Tesla, which I think is just ridiculous. But they grabbed one of the protesters and they said, why don't you like Elon Musk? And he says, well, he really didn't give an answer. He says, well, he steals. And then he says, he does drugs. It's like, really? He does drugs now? They don't have a reason of why they're doing it. They just know they hate him because they hate Trump. And he had no reason for even being there. He was there just because it was the thing to do, and he's a Democrat. But they're saying that he steals. I assure you, I do not know Elon Musk personally. I wish I did. But I assure you, this guy is not stealing. He has no reason to steal. And doing drugs? I doubt it. I don't think a guy who's running 3 or 4 majorly successful corporations, richest man in the world, is doing drugs. I'm sorry. Just not buying it. But they're desperate. They don't know what to do. They're imploding, like we said on the last show, and they're going to keep ramping up as much as they can. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Yeah, the Elon Musk thing is a joke to me, too. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the guy on the planet with the highest consciousness level that exists, and he's stealing and he's doing drugs.
He's doing this for free.
Okay.
He doesn't need.
Okay.
Why would he step into this? I mean, I seen him on interviews. He says people are trying to kill me. People want to kill me. You know, it was interesting. I don't think I told you this. But driving down south, not too long ago, there was a Tesla, a woman in a Tesla. And as she passed me, there was a sticker in the back of the Tesla that had the no Elon, with the line through it. So I was like, really? She's driving a Tesla, but she has the no Elon on it.
Because she don't want to blow it up.
Right. I was thinking she doesn't want the people, to damage her car, but that's how they are, So she's got that sticker on there, no Elon, and I'm sure we're going to start seeing them now where people are driving their Teslas. They're going to put that on there so they don't think someone's going to key their car or blow it up. Like, oh, this person drives a Tesla, but he doesn't like Elon.
That'd be like me driving down the highway with hookers and cocaine with a no Hunter Biden sticker on my bumper.
Pretty much. Yeah, you could definitely connect the dots to that one. So I thought that was funny. As I know, as we're starting to round down a little bit here, I did want to touch upon, I know in the last show I did tease that we would talk about, give any updates on the Epstein files. I just know that they have tens of thousands of files to go through, and Pam Bondi said yesterday that they're still working through redacting a lot of the minors, the underage children's names, so I think that's going to take longer than we thought. And also, I have not heard any updates on the auto pen controversy other than Trump saying that the pardons are null and void. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case, but I think that's going to have to go to the Supreme Court, so there is no update on that. And JFK, I went through some of them, but you're talking over 80,000 pages. I don't see anything damning coming out of that as of yet. I know there's a lot of people that are still going through all that paperwork, but I haven't heard anything that's like just mind-blowing of the JFK papers. So
all of these, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. I just wanted to give an update because we talked about that. I teased it in the last show.
All of these topics that you're coming up with right now, they're so heavily buried because it's protecting people that are part of the administration and people that are part of the upper 1% that control things, okay? And so I hate to sound like a skeptic. It's all great and everything else. But if there was like a log, Elon Musk log, like, this guy, he screwed these kids, and maybe they killed these kids. It's not going to come out. It would have come out already. I just think it's too heavily buried. These people are too prominent. Too many people have gotten money. I don't believe it to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it happening. And to get off of this topic for a minute, I want to tell our listeners that I'm going to start getting to some topics. I know we've been heavily into politics because that's been a hot button, but I'm going to start getting into some topics that create awareness, right? That create betterment, that can be helpful for people to improve their lives, their mindsets, their spirituality, their existence here on earth. I'm going to get into a lot of those different topics, and so I know some people that do listen to this. I had some friends that listened to it, and they said, I'm not political, and I understand. I never was political before either. To me it's very interesting just because all the manipulation that's been going on, and it's kind of crazy. But I just want to let our listeners know that we're going to be into other topics. We're going to be into topics that can actually help you inspire thought, create better lives, better habits, different perspectives, open up awarenesses, and things that can actually help us. Because I think that a lot of these things that we're talking about that are interesting, they can be very negative as well. I mean, because we're talking about corruption, we're talking about deception, we're talking about suppression, we're talking about a lot of nonsense that has controlled us and has made a lot of failure in a lot of people. And I'm at the tipping point where I'm kind of like almost done with talking about all this deterioration of people and cultures, and I want to figure out how to get people to start improving. So I just want to put that out there.
I think it's a great idea, and I know I had a bunch of topics submitted to me as well that sound very interesting, and I think the listeners would like to hear. Of course, life isn't just politics. It just seems to be a hot issue right now. But I look forward to doing some other shows with some other stuff going on, like betterment, stuff like that. And another topic that was brought up to me is, why are people so angry these days? And why is it easier to be angry as opposed to being more happier or have a more positive outlook on life? So I do look forward to that. I know we're down to a minute here. I just want to let everybody know as we wrap up here, we thank you for being a listener to the show. Check us out on our website, donhanston.com. We have all the episodes there. Hit the subscribe button so we could let you know when we have a new episode coming. Also, click the little bell so you get a notification. We appreciate everybody who listens, and we thank you for joining us. And next time we talk, we're going to have a little bit of an update on the governor of Maine with President Trump. I will have a story on that and a bunch of other stuff. So thank you for joining us for Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show, and we will see you next time.